Another stunning Honda British Talent Cup race here at Oulton Park in Cheshire on Sunday, and once again it will be decided by just millimetres at the line. Harrison Crosby, though, was leading early doors on the Yellow Banks racing machine, fighting away with the ever-improving Harrison Desoy, who, would you believe, is actually the oldest rider in the field at 16. But this was not a sort of race that we were going to see domination for. Rhys Stevenson put in a wonderful ride. We saw him being forced off the track there after a touch with Carter Brown. Problems for Luca Hopkins and Bailey Stewart-Campbell at Druids early doors. But Stevenson, number 23, was charging. The rider from Skegness, who went round the outside and ran out of road, got close with Carter Brown again and had to unfortunately ditch the machine on the run to Shell. He'll be looking for more success on Bank Holiday Monday. Johnny Garness, though, was right up there as they came through to finish. Correa was lucky to avoid injury. Garness just holding off Keanu Vaya. We're all set for the second race of this bank holiday weekend here at Oulton Park for the Honda British Talent Cup. Neil Mackenzie and Greg Haynes are with you. We saw an incredible affair here on Sunday with Johnny Garness holding off Keanu Vaya over the line by just 21 thousandths of a second. So, I'm sure you know by now, fastest laps from race 1 decide the grid for race 2. So, row 2 first of all, the 13-year-old here, number 40, Julian Correa from America. Very, very fortunate not to be hit yesterday when he high-sided coming out of the last corner. Harrison Crosby, who was until that point the championship leader, went off as well in avoidance. 5th from Bridgewater, the 15-year-old Carter Brown in the middle of row 2. One of the heavier, taller riders, and that's good here for Oulton Park with its many changes of direction. Harrison Desoy, Alex Baldolini from Dorna reckons he's one of the biggest improvers so far. He's from Basildon. He's actually the oldest rider in the field, even though he's 16. He's 4th and heading up row 2. Here's Rhys Stevenson, number 23 from Skegness on the Rocket Racing machine with the flag of Lincolnshire there flying proudly on the front fairing. 3rd fastest lap in race 1, equals 3rd on the grid and a front row for race 2. He's looking to try and get ahead early doors. Johnny Garness, 13-year-old from Ilfracombe, very nimble, very light. This is one of his harder circuits though here at Oulton Park with the elevation changes. The shark teeth helmet there for Johnny, definitely one of the title favourites this year. But it's one of his many MLAV Vision Track Academy teammates, Harley McCabe. That 48.7 lap time puts him on pole position for race 2. One of 5 of Michael Laverty's riders in this field. Like Garness, 13 years of age. So, Neil Mack, this could be absolutely stunning, I think. We probably had the best race of the whole weekend here so far on Sunday. What will Monday throw up? 14 laps ahead of us again. And
I'm looking forward to this one, Greg. And yeah, really happy that Julian Correa, Harrison Crosby and Rhys Stevenson are all perfectly okay, and each and every one of them fairly spectacular crash yesterday, but these guys bounce well, they're all okay. But what about Harley McCabe, Harley Stevens, Harley McCabe. Less than a year ago, he hadn't sat on a Honda British Talent Cup grid, and now he's sitting there in pole position. What an improvement for him, and all the other kids coming through as well. So really, really looking forward to this, and we're going to have them all in the mix again. There's no question about that, but trying to pick a winner is going to be as difficult as ever.
If Harley Stevens from Pirelli was on the grid, they probably would have a problem with the weights, wouldn't they? But of course, it's Dunlop tyres for the Talent Cup riders, and we've got the European Talent Cup kicking off next weekend as well. I believe Carter Brown's actually going to be racing in Estoril next weekend on a Moto2 bike, I believe, with the Michael Laverty team, isn't he, when they get to Estoril? That's what Alex Baldolini was telling me earlier on.
Yeah, and he's one of the bigger riders. He's certainly big enough and strong enough to take on the next challenge of Moto2, and as you said, in Estoril. So look forward to seeing him there. He's a very talented off-roader motocrosser, so yeah, it's going to suit him well.
And as you saw, they're an absolutely brilliant crowd here at Oulton Park in Cheshire. This venue used to be used as a staging post before the D-Day landings back in World War II. And here we are, showcasing the motorcycle riding talents of the future. Look at that, 15 degrees ambient, 24 track. Not too much bright sunshine, Neil, but it is meaning people aren't getting sunburnt as they were yesterday, so that's good.
Yeah, but great ambient temperature, great track temperature for the Dunlop tyres. 24 degrees is great. That means, yeah, they get a warm-up lap, but tyres are all up to temperature. Nice and safe on the first lap through the rights and the lefts.
There is the medical car coming through the frame. They'll do the standard first lap medical chase and then put into the pit lane at the end of lap 1. Jarno Vaya then, who won at Silverstone 2 weeks ago. The Dutch rider from Meppel leads Garnes from Ilfracombe in Devon by 8 points. Crosby, one of the biggest improvers so far this year, is third. From Carter Brown, Harrison Desoy. Watch out for Matthew Roosbroek as well, one of the MLAV Vision Track riders there, 6th in the championship. Correa comes from America, Hitchcock, McCabe's on pole position today, and Clayton Edmonds is a new name in the field this year. The youngest rider on the grid, he's just 12 years old coming into the season. We have had changes with age limits, and it's 13 to 17, but if you already had an entry and you were 12 coming into the year before the regs changed, then that is okay for this season. McCabe then on the pole, Garnes and Stevenson alongside, then it's Desoy, Brown and Correa on row 2. Remember, these are fastest laps from race 1. Crosby was lucky after the crash yesterday not to be hurt. Via Lucas Brown, Roosbrook, Brady Stewart Campbell had a non-finish, as did Luca Hopkins, so they're looking to make their way up through the order. McKay, Hitchcock and Rowan, then it's Ollie Walker, Wilkinson and Edmonds, as I say, the youngest rider on the grid. So it's a relatively short run, in fact a very short run, down to Old Hall Corner here at Oulton Park. 2.69 miles, this full international circuit here at Oulton. Watch out as well for Horner, who is a one-event rider here at Oulton Park. That's Ollie Horner, the 14-year-old from Salisbury, coming from the back of the field, but had a really impressive few laps actually in yesterday's race. So watch out for him, and let's see if we get any more racing from him later in the season. Reece Stevenson gets back to the grid first. He's the first front row starter to get back to the grid. Just wants a few seconds to refresh himself. Garnes in the middle of the front row. Harley McCabe is on the pole though. He's never been in this position before. Well, how's he thinking now, I wonder, Neil? Harley McCabe, it's a new territory for him.
He seems to be dealing with everything very admirably so far, definitely.
So, top left, lights will be switched on. And when the lights go out, the race begins. And it's Harley McCabe away from the pole. Stevenson's made a good start there on the Rocket Racing machine. And Rocket Reese, is he up into second? He's side by side with Garnes. No, it's still McCabe, Garnes, Stevenson. 1, 2, 3, another one. That's Carter Brown running wide as he did at least 4 times in yesterday's race, but did avoid a penalty. Up to second then goes Stevenson. And look, Garnes is going backwards. He's lost another one because I think Harrison Desoy there on the first Microdisc bike has gone through as well. Down the avenue, it is indeed Desoy, number 55, up to third. Let's see if Garnes can fight bike. Island Bend, he likes this part of the track. Yes, he's back up to third.
He is, yeah, second into turn 1, number 57, Johnny Garnes, but got mugged a little bit, as you said, down through the avenue, but the Crestwell Micro-Eyes machines, 2 of them squeezing past there, but another 2 firsts for Harley McCabe. First hole shot, first time he's led a Honda British Talent Cup race. Yeah,
from his first pole position, so brilliant stuff. Of course, that won't go down in the record books as a pole, as it was a fastest lap pole from race 1, but even so, perfect stuff for McCabe. There he is, number 79 so far. There's the order on the left-hand side. Crosby, the yellow bike there in the mix. This is Stevenson attacking McCabe now. Stevenson has never won a Honda Talent Cup race, but this is his best opportunity so far. That's Ollie Walker, number 48, just sorting himself out there as they come down through Hizzies, out of Knickerbrook and up Clay Hill. Quite a different pattern we're seeing here, exactly as we predicted. Silverstone National 2 weeks ago, the lightweight riders with the long start-finish straight and the Wellington straight had an advantage. Here, it's up, it's down, plenty of direction changes, and the heavier, taller riders are enjoying that here at Oulton Park.
Yeah, Reece Stevenson, I love the way he was on the grid. He's happy, smiling, not one bit affected with yesterday's problems in the race. He made a few mistakes, was off the track a couple of times and then finally went down, but he's sitting there very happy, just eager to get going, and look at that, into the lead in lap 2.
So over the line into the second lap, Reece Stevenson leads a Honda Talent Cup race. I can almost hear the cheers from the awning, which is about halfway across the paddock from where we are here in the commentary box. He's in the lead, down the avenue. Carter Brown's trying to get in on the act as well, but look at McCabe there, he's lost another one there. That's Desoy going through. Now, I was chatting earlier on, Neil, with Alex Baldolini from Dorna, the Dorna representative here in the paddock, and he definitely pointed out Desoy as one of the best improvers so far this year, but look at Garnes, he loves Island Bend.
Johnny Garnes is so impressive because yesterday he rode at the front, he was 4th, he led a little bit, but when it counted, and he wasn't really he wasn't really looking like he was going to win on the last lap, but he just made it happen. And I feel like he rides to the race, he reads the race, and then he has always got something in hand, as he proved yesterday. But yeah, he's just settling himself down there. Nice. Garness in third, Harley McCabe in fourth.
Garness, incidentally, now is working alongside Charlie Nesbitt as a rider coach. Charlie, who's a national superstock rider here in Britain, but if you remember, absolutely dominated the British MotoStar Moto3 Championship with 17 podiums, 16 of which, would you believe, were race wins to win that title back in 2016. So a great mentor, and look at his man now, Garness, piling the pressure on Stevenson. There's Stevenson, he's thinking about his first win. I think the pressure would be lifted. I sense there's a bit of a pressure on Stevenson to get that first win out of the way, Neil, and I think we could see some great things from Rocket Reese once that first win comes. Will it be this afternoon? He's attacking Desoy this time down into Lodge, so that's the second lap in a row on which Stevenson's taken the lead at Lodge.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a somewhere where you feel strong, and particularly at Lodge. So often here, the last lap of races are decided at that very last corner into Lodge, and if you've got a nice setup and you're confident breaking in there, then you've got quite a nice little package up your sleeve. Wow. As Harrison Desoy squeezes himself back to the front as they head through Old Hall.
Desoy, the 16-year-old from Basildon, as I've said a couple of times already, the oldest rider in the race, amazingly. But look at the effect this fighting is having now. There are 8 of them. Oh, Crosby there, that was exceeding track limits, I think. Just touching the green paint there, coming down through the bottom of Cascades. But it's bunched them all up now. You've got the top 8 locked together. Watch out for Bailey Stewart Campbell as well. In fact, I say it's top 8, it's more than that. It's about 11 of them. Crosby's up the inside, and so is Carter Brown, and he takes his teammate, Harley McCabe. First time Harley's been up here consistently in the leading bunch like this. Started on the pole, and he's just got to adjust to the pace of some of these riders around him.
He really has. And Carter Brown, who featured at the front pretty much straight away in the opening laps of yesterday's race, he's making progress down there in 7th place on the last lap. But there he is, the number 74, looking down the inside of Harrison Crosby. As a head into his. Yeah, he's made that stick.
And there's Lucas Brown, number 29. He's shot up this year. He's taller and heavier now, and that's playing to his strengths here at Oulton Park. Lucas Brown then on the back of this pack. So it is indeed 11 of them. 11 of them locked together. 84. Lucas is fighting with this Matthew Roosbrook, one of the riders Taylor's working with, of course. Taylor Mackenzie on the MLAV Vision Track Academy. And the Dutch rider's going really well, considering this is his first season in Britain. But I said before, watch out for number 9 on the pink bike, Bailey Stewart Campbell. He's in this gaggle as well, and he had a crash. Oh, and he's giving space to Correa from America. Gives him a nice wide berth. You could see him coming through there at Lodge. This is where Julian had his crash yesterday. Very lucky not to be struck when he was prone across the circuit, but it did mean that Crosby had to go off onto the grass and crashed as well and lost the championship lead as a result. Okay, this is lap 4 of 14. These are long races here. It's all part of Dorna and MSVR's collaboration in the road to MotoGP, so they get more practice time, more warm-up time, and certainly longer races than the other junior categories. It's always funny to see everybody looking over their shoulder, and they can see another 7 or 8 riders right behind them or even alongside them. That, I think, is Keanu Vaya. Yes, he's through to the top 3 now. Number 53 for the first time today, and Garness has lost another 2. Carter Brown and Crosby come through as well.
Yeah, brilliant, and what an opportunity. As you say, Alex Baldolini here looking after these guys. He reports back to Dorna. These guys will get opportunities for the selection event of the Red Bull Rookies MotoGP Cup. There's chances to get into the European Talent Cup and the Junior World Championship, so it really is a great shop window.
Yeah, and Casey O'Gorman's been proving already, hasn't he, this season, just how good things can be. What, 2 podiums and 2 5th places in Portimao and Jerez across the start of the rookie season. I mean, that is incredible stuff, and what an advert for the British Talent Cup here as well.
Exactly, and a lot of these kids raced with Casey last year. Casey was the strongest rider in the championship, but he was given a hard time by all these kids. But you see the level it's at. For Casey O'Gorman to go to the Red Bull Rookies and, as you said, have a couple of podiums, and his 2 5th places in Jerez were in with a couple of tenths of the winner as well, so really is a very impressive debut.
So Reece Stevenston still has the advantage in this motorcycle race, but at the end of lap 4, with a long way still to go, well over half the race still to go, we're only 20% of the way through so far, the top 11 are still locked together here at Oulton Park. 48.8 for Stevenson, that fastest lap. He's trying to extend the advantage. It's just under 0.2 of a second, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult to pull away in this one, Neil, if not impossible.
Very much so, and this is going to be so interesting. Johnny Garnett's now back in 5th position, and there's a little gap there, you can see, back to the 57. And he's just been squeezed there, yeah, with Harrison Crosby. So Johnny Garnett's now back into 6th position, and this is a man that never really lets the leaders get out of his sight. So this is going to be interesting just to see if he can pull that back. Carter Brown, meanwhile, making good progress. He's up to 4th there on the back of the 2 Cresswell machines. Ray Stevenson in the lead, doing a great job. And unlike yesterday, he's not making any mistakes. He's keeping things inch perfect. He's doing a brilliant job and looking super confident.
Yeah, he's been quite unfortunate so far this season to be involved in some collisions with Carter Brown. One of them at Silverstone. Carter crashed in front of him. Reese had nowhere to go. They had a touchdown into the chicane yesterday, but after that we saw a great charge up through the field, and then he tried to go around the outside, I think, of Carter and went off on the run to Shell, luckily escaping any injury. Ted Wilkinson, by the way, has just pitted, so out of luck again is Ted Wilkinson. It's as you were here at Oulton Park as the top 11 riders in the Honda British Talent Cup stream through on this bank holiday Monday bonanza. Look at them all. And it's Reece Stevenson, who's never won in the Talent Cup before. At the moment, I nervously say this, on target for his first race win. The 16-year-old from Skegness with the Lincolnshire flags proudly flying there on either side of his fairing. Desoy Harrison is in 2nd place. Keanu Vaya is in 3rd position, having won at Silverstone for the first time in the class 2 weeks ago. Johnny Garnett was the winner here yesterday, and he's 5th at the moment as Harrison Desoy now, for the first time, moves ahead of Stevenson to take the lead.
Yeah, and look at that. Carter Brown, fastest lap of the race, faster than yesterday's fastest lap that was set by Harley McCabe. So Carter Brown really does have some pace here. There's a little gap between himself and Keanu Vaya, but Carter Brown really on a mission here and closing in on the leaders.
Carter Brown, who of course was runner-up to the dominant in the end, Casey O'Gorman, who would have been even more dominant had he not had that nasty accident at Knock Hill, which put him out for a few races last year. So Carter definitely feels it's his title for the taking in 22. Stevenson, he's so confident, Neil, isn't he, under brakes? And every time he's been passed, he's not panicking. He just sits behind whoever he's following. But it's never been more than half a lap before he's back in front again.
He is, yeah, and that's important here at Oulton Park, as I mentioned before, breaking into that last corner. If you've got a bike that's really well set up in the brakes where you can brake late, maybe do a little bit of a block pass and still turn in, and he certainly has something that's working well around here. He's not losing out anywhere else at the same time.
I know the team are particularly proud to be the top family friends run team in the paddock. Look at there, the black bike on its own at the front with the Cresswell bikes behind, then the Banks racing machine, all of these MLAV Academy bikes. There's 5 of them in the field. Bailey Stewart Campbell going really strongly as well on the Team 151 Lexter bike, the 14-year-old from Wokingham. That's the pink and black machine. He's going strongly, isn't he? A crash yesterday, but he's 7th now.
Yeah, he's a kid that was very talented in all the junior series, mini motos and pit bikes. He's a great little rider, and I know they've really struggled to find budget to get out here last year and this year, but I love the way that bike stands out, bright pink. Alex Lowe's-esque. Alex Lowe's likes a little bit of that colour blended into helmets and things. So yeah, great to see Bailey Stewart Campbell doing well and staying on board.
Crosby was close there with Garnett. The yellow bike is Harrison Crosby. Some interesting news there as well, coming out of Silverstone 2 weeks ago, is that he's now part of the Pro 83 Academy run by BSB race winner Danny Buchan. They've got Zach Corduroy in that as well in British Supersport, and Evan Pendrell in the R6 Cup over in the CIV series in Italy. There's Vaya then still in that 2nd place ahead of Desoy. But as we said before, it's almost an absolute necessity now to be part of an academy or have a very renowned mentor. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, you really do, and you need all the help you can get. Look at that, another fastest lap coming thick and fast now. Matthew Roosbrook, number 84, putting in a fast lap back there in 9th position at the moment, but very, very impressive.
Well, the TV always makes it look a little bit lighter than it really is. I mean, can tell you it is quite dark here now in comparison to when the race started. We're not this is going to be famous last words, we're not expecting rain during the race. Apparently, about half an hour from now on the run up towards 4 o'clock local time. But for now, it's bone dry. Crosby there as they come under the Warwick Bridge is side by side, or nearly was, with Keanu Vaya. Crosby, who had to go off onto the grass when Julian Correa crashed in the next few metres of track here yesterday. Correa high-sided in the middle of the track. Crosby went off onto the grass, was lucky to avoid injury himself, but did lose the championship lead. Side by side again at the front. There's Desoy. He's never won in this category either. So at the moment, the two at the front, both fighting for their first victory in the Honda British Talent Cup. And again, Stevenson straight back underneath him. Here we go again. Desoy goes through. Let's see if Stevenson can respond. One of his favourite passing places is down over the hilltop and into the Hiz's chicane. We'll have to keep a close eye now on Johnny Garness as well in the closing stages. He's in 5th place. He'll want to be attacking. Look at Crosby there on the outside line, which is now the inside line for Shell. Oh, that's wonderful stuff. And the lead changes again. Stevenson retakes the lead. Crosby's up to 3rd.
Yeah, and Johnny Garness, based on past history and past results, it's this part of the race where he starts to get going. And look at that, he's back in touch. He just set fastest ever sector of this race through sector 1, so he's got a little bit left. He's one of the smaller and lightest guys in the race. It might be just when the fuel load goes down, as much as they don't have much fuel in these bikes, the bike is getting lighter. He's less strong than some of the other riders, so that might just suit him. The handling comes into its own. He finds a bit of pace. It's certainly looking like he's we're only at half race distance really, so there's still plenty of time.
Now, Neil, there is a combined weight, isn't there, here for rider and bike of 148 kilos, but I know some of the heavier riders and their families feel it's not quite fair because they're running over that in comparison with the lighter riders. But the organisers will tell you for safety reasons,
yes,
you can't put too much weight on the lighter riders' bikes, can you?
No, it makes the bikes not handle. It makes them dangerous, essentially. So it is difficult. It's got to be a fine balance there. But the fact is, these bikes are getting lighter as the race goes on, and for the smaller riders, it maybe. The heavier riders obviously can maybe muscle the bikes around a little bit, but the smaller riders, that's more difficult. But braking and acceleration, when the bikes get lighter, it is better for them.
That was Carter Brown there, was on the curves coming through. This is the scraps going on for the last few points in this race. McKay, Hitchcock, Walker and Hopkins all locked together. 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th over the line. In 61 punching in front is Harrison McKay. Turned 14 just after Silverstone exactly 2 weeks ago today. And Harrison goes through. Nice move there. Every point counts as we move towards the closing stages of this race. And look what's happening. There's a handy gap now between 6th and 7th places. So let's get sorted with who is who. If you are just joining us, Reece Stevenson there on the Rocket Racing bike, the black machine, number 23, leads. Then you've got the 2 Micronis Cresswell bikes there, the John Cresswell 1 machines. That's 55 Harrison Desoy, 53 is Keanu Vaya. The Banks Racing bike, the yellow machine, is Harrison Crosby. And then the 2 top MLAV Vision Academy bikes, 57 Johnny Garnett, second in the championship. Carter Brown, his teammate, right behind. But just visually, it looked as though they'd lost a bit of that advantage then to the chasing group. It's not out of the question, Neil, that Roosbrook, Stewart, Campbell and Correa there in the background could join the party. Here they all come up Clay Hill.
Absolutely, plenty of time left, and another fastest lap of the race, and this time it's Carter Brown, and he's now 2/10 outside the lap record, so he's getting dragged around nicely by teammate in the MLAB Vision Track Academy machine, teammate Johnny Garnett. So, and like I said, these last Bailey Stewart Campbell, number 9 there, he's not out of it either. It really is anybody's.
Oh, there's Crosby muscling his way past Harrison Desoy. The question is, would you want to do that on the last lap though, or would you then be slipstream on the run to the line? We saw a very similar thing happen in race 1 here on Sunday. There goes Keanu Vaya. He's not yet led this race, and I thought he would there, but he's not. Stevenson is absolutely desperate to break his duck for the first time in the Honda British Talent Cup and launch himself into title contention for 2022. Crosby then up to second, and let's see whether those 2 white MLAB Vision Track Academy riders now, Brown and Garness, start to cut through. They've been at the back of this leading group for a few laps, but they're running out of time now. We've only got 5 laps to go, including this one.
Carter Brown, fastest first sector so far on this lap. He's still digging in there. It's just almost, well, it is impossible to call, isn't it? We've got 9 riders here that could still be on the podium, and who's going to win it? Well, I don't know, but I got to put my money on Garnett. He just always finds a way to wiggle past on the closing lap, so we'll have to wait and see.
Well, Perariva, Jonathan Ray, 6-time title-winning crew chief in World Superbikes, has always said to me, it's not always the fastest guy or girl who wins, but the smartest. And Alex Baldolini said exactly the same earlier today. And they focus, don't they, on not necessarily the ones with the most podiums, Neil, or the most wins, but the ones who listen, the ones who take it on board, and the biggest improvers. I know that's what Alberto Puget-Dorna looks for as they come up through the ranks. They know they're not going to be in the British Talent Cup forever, but they know there's chances, don't they, as they move on to the Red Bull Rookies, European Talent Cup and the other classes, and then eventually into Grand Prix racing in the World Championship.
That's right, it has to be the whole package. There's a lot more to racing than just sort of biting the screen and then putting a fast lap in now and again and maybe just getting away with it. It really is the full package, and the potential for these riders to go all the way, their attitude, their approach to racing, the preparation, it really does make a big difference. Whoa.
4 to go. This is lap 11. Stevenson's led for pretty much every lap so far, bar the first couple. Dark clouds continuing to make their way across Oulton Park, and that's again Carter Brown out on the green painted area on the exit of Old Hall Corner. He got a warning, I believe, earlier on, but avoided any kind of penalty. He's got to be careful with that, though. The two Cresswell riders getting very, very close to each other there around the left-hander at the bottom of Cascades. There's Garness, number 57. The rider from Devon, shark teeth on the helmet, easy to spot him.
Yeah, it's almost like it's trying to make him look aggressive, because he's the most meek and mild little kid you could ever meet. Lovely family. There's no aggression in there at all, apparently, but of course when riders put that visor down, then away they go. But Carter Brown, yeah, he uses every inch of the track, but like you said, he was just getting a little bit too ambitious yesterday, using the green concrete a few times, and he will be penalised if he does that too often.
Tom Garness, his dad, incidentally, ketchup fan, he says. That's why they ran number 57.
Right.
I'm not even making it up. That's what he was telling us earlier on. Chaz Davis
Chaz
as well,
Davis, yes. Chaz Davis,
Chaz
Davis yesterday was the culprit. Was he something to do with ketchup as well?
Well, he said he was a ketchup fan, yeah.
Right.
I suppose there's so many varieties of number you can run, aren't there? So that's what Chaz used to go with, number 57 earlier in his career. I don't know, did Chaz change to 7 because somebody else was 57, do you reckon?
Possibly. Other ketchups are available.
Well, there are another 56 varieties, aren't there?
Yeah, 56.
Anyway.
We're so funny.
Back of the motorcycle race.
Look
at that. 6 abreast nearly, Neil. How is that going to end up? Carter Brown almost pinned up on the inside curve at Lodge, in a big moment further back. That was the 84 getting all out of shape. That was Roosbroek, the Dutch rider.
Yes.
He's based in Valencia, but he is from the Netherlands. Good save at Lodge. 3 to go now.
Yeah, and wasn't his fault. Just got a little bit offline there, getting on the throttle. He was just a little bit unsighted, so yeah, it didn't do anything wrong.
Look at the lead, Neil Mack, for Stevenson.
Huge.
Side by side for the MLAV riders. That could get complicated. Are we going to see some green paint used? Not this time. Garness ahead, Carter Brown behind him. But Stevenson's lead, there it is, half a second with 3 laps to go.
Well, if Reece Stevenson can hit his spots, get some nice consistent laps together, and the others behind them maybe trip each other up, then he could be home and dry. But that gap already has closed. Harrison Desoy already zoning in on them, focusing in them as they head round to the Britain chicane, and they're all back together again.
Yeah, so top 6 together through Britons, and then in the background there, Roosbroek still fighting with Stuart Campbell. Over the hilltop they come, down to the right of the chicane, and we've been doing some interesting mathematics here in the truck at Oulton Park. We believe there is a back marker 26 seconds up the road. They're lapping 10 seconds quicker than the back marker.
Nothing in sight.
They might well catch it on the last lap, even the last corner, Neil.
Nothing in sight so far, but that really could mix things up. And you've got 8 riders trying to get round a rider that's through no fault of his own, just going a little bit slower. It does make things tricky. That's a long way round it, Drew. That doesn't really work normally, but...
Oh, that was brave stuff there from Desoy and Stevenson. It's been such a clean race so far. I hate making statements like that. Oh, and he nearly chopped his nose off down into Lodge. We're coming through now to the penultimate tour here at Oulton Park. I think we might just get away with it in terms of the weather, but this is lap 13 of 14, and your leader this time then, over the line at least, was Harrison Desoy. Stevenson is back in front. He feels this is his race by rights. He's yet to win in the Talent Cup, and he knows he can win this one.
I think he's thinking, I've done all the hard work here. I guess he's led the majority of the laps. He thinks, I just need to get this job done as well. But Johnny Garnett knows that he can come from 4th or 5th, even on the last lap.
Josh Bannister out of the race. Well, that's a shame because he was up there and improving his pace all across the weekend. He wasn't in the points, he was in 21st position, but poor old Josh is out. Now, Stevenson knows that line on the outside. He was off on the grass there yesterday. Back underneath, back up to second he goes, ahead of Keanu Vaya. Harrison Desoy as well, though, puts his hand up there. He's fighting for his first win as well. What was that all about with the hand gesture?
This is getting way too busy. There's definitely no room for 6 abreast as they head into Britain's there. They go left, they go right, and then left up the hill. Harrison Crosby looking particularly aggressive now. He really is getting stuck in. He knows it's coming to the crunch time. Oh, tight in there as well into Hissies. Right, left, flick back to the left to get a nice drive up the hill out that right. Got to be careful, a little bit off camber here. All safely through this time.
And as we said before this, look, Crosby there in the background there, signalling to those behind, Carter Brown. Crosby and Brown have dropped back quite badly there, haven't they? Look at the gap that's opened up there from 4th back to 5th, Neil. They've got to ride really hard now to catch them, as Stevenson did yesterday. Stevenson, he's done everything right across this race so far. Defence, offence, always cuts back through as soon as he's passed, and he can see that win ahead of him as we come down into the last lap. It's Desoy leading, it is Vaya second. On the outside on the white bike is Garness. There's Stevenson on the black machine. Crosby's back with them, so that's worked for the Banks Racing Machine, the yellow bike there in 5th place. This is the final lap then, here on the international circuit at Oulton Park. Through goes Keanu Vaya. He did win at Silverstone 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. 5-way battle now. Johnny Garnett trying to go around the outside as they head down into the left of Cascades. Harrison Crosby pushes through. That could work for Johnny Garnett because he's going to get a nice drive out here. I reckon he can slipstream Reece Stevenson along to Island Bend.
Bit of debris on the track there, bit of tape, I think, of somebody's radiator from earlier in the race, but Stevenson won't be very pleased about that. He's got designs on winning this race. He will not be pleased to have been shoved out wide there, but here comes Crosby up the inside of Vaya. It is still, though, the big improver, Harrison Desoy, number 55 from Basildon, leading this race. He's on target for his first ever Honda Talent Cup win. Through the chicane at Britain's on the last lap. Yep. That was good riding there from Vaya, wasn't it, Neil, to avoid contact with Crosby?
It certainly was. Crosby, and yeah, I think he's looking the most aggressive in the class of the closing laps. He really does want to make up for yesterday's incident.
And we caught our first glimpse of that back marker we mentioned a couple of laps ago, and they are lapping quick enough to catch that back marker, maybe even down into Lodge Corner at the very end of this lap. Would you believe it?
No.
You can't see him at the moment at the top of the hill. They might catch that back marker, but it certainly looks like it's 5. The back marker is now at Druids. Where are they going to catch him? Would it even be the run to the line? It's still Harrison Desoy, Crosby, Vaya, Stevenson, Garness on the white machine. Brown's dropped back now, as we know. There's Crosby going through then as we come out of Druids. There's the back marker. They're going to be fine. They're going to be absolutely fine by the sake of a few metres. But who's going to win this motorcycle race? 5 abreast, down into Lodge. Oh, they needed touch. Vaya and Crosby's forced out wide. Stevenson thanks a lot. Down goes Crosby. 2nd day in a row at the last corner. I can't believe it. Championship leader coming into the weekend, but your winner is Desoy. Harrison Desoy from Basildon wins for the first time in the Honda British Talent Cup. What a brilliant, brilliant ride. Alex Baldolini said he's been one of the biggest improvers so far this season, and that proves it. Stevenson, what a race. Led for much of it. 2nd, Garness was 3rd from Vaya. And Roosbot, you have to feel for Crosby. I hope he's okay. And this fight still going on behind. Harrison McKay, this is all 4 points, but yellow flags are out. That's why you're seeing no passing. Very sensible stuff from everybody. Now they can pass as they pass the green on the run to the line. This is for 11th place downwards. And the order is McKay over the line, grabs that 11th spot from Hopkins, Hitchcock, Walker and Edmonds. Good stuff then from the youngest rider in the race, 12-year-old Clayton Edmonds, to score a point. But it is Harrison Desoy for John Cresswell's team, the Microlift-sponsored team, who wins his first victory in the Honda British Talent Cup. Oh, Neil, what a race, but I just can't believe what happened to Harrison Crosby at the last corner again.
I'm devastated for him because, yeah, it was the last corner incident. Riders running wide there, a little bit offline. Camber's funny there, opens the throttle. He's desperate to get a drive up over onto the line there. So, yeah, nasty crash. I just like to say I hope he's okay. So unlucky, such a shame for the Pete Banks racing team there. There's such a massive part of the paddock for so long, and they thoroughly deserved at least the podium there.
Yeah, he'll be checked out by Kat and Heike Roma and everybody involved in the medical staff here. Hopefully he's all right. But what about the other Harrison? Desoy wins. Look how delighted he is. Number 55, the 16-year-old from Basildon. He was up there all through the race, wasn't he? I do feel a little bit sorry, I have to say, for Rhys Stevenson, because he led for much of that race. Here there is Harrison Crosby, and it's been a nightmare here. The good thing is he's all right. That is the excellent news. But the bad news is he's come out of a championship lead of 2 points after Silverstone to scoring absolutely nothing, Neil, here at Oulton Park. Garness, another solid weekend, comes away with a lap record as well.
Yeah, kept himself out of trouble there, really did. And that last corner incident, fortunately, he was up the inside and managed to get a nice run up the hill and grab a podium position. So good damage limitation for him. It's so difficult. I mean, these guys are changing lines every corner, the 4 abreast, so really is tricky for them, and it's so easy just to get caught out. But lots of time for Harrison Crosby to make points up, lots of rounds left, and as we can see, it really is anything. It's so good. We've got 10 in the bunch that can finish on the podium.
Yeah. Oh, it's just brilliant, isn't it? It's getting better all the time. And of course, the regulations changed a couple of years back, Neil, so we've got different nationalities of rider involved as well now. Really, really entertaining motorcycle racing. And so exciting for the future as well. Well, what a Honda Talent Cup race here at Oulton Park. I have to feel for Harrison Crosby. He is okay, I'm pleased to report. He's up the side of the track. Quite despondent, as you can imagine. But in comes his namesake, Harrison Desoy, number 55, the 16-year-old from Basildon, wins for the very first time. And now the outpouring of emotion here in Cheshire. Alex Baldolini in the background there, the Dorna representative here in the BSB paddock. All part of the Road to MotoGP programme. And Harrison Desoy, he's making further progress up that road to MotoGP. So another new winner this season. It's Harrison Desoy this time. Rhys Stevenson, best ride of his life so far there, just missing out on the win, but led for most of the laps. Garness, really consistent there in third from Keanu Vaya, a winner back at Silverstone. And look how many Cresswell bikes. 3 of them up there in the top 5. Matthew Roosbuck, the Valencia-based Dutchman, first top 5 for him. Then it was Carter Brown. Stuart Campbell did well to recover after a crash on Sunday. Correa, the same goes for him. Then it was Harley McCabe, just struggled a bit for pace there, dropped out of that leading group from that pole position. Lucas Brown's improving all the time. Harrison McKay and Luca Hopkins. Luca Hopkins, incidentally, now being backed by Danny Webb. Ryan Hitchcock, Ollie Walker, and the youngest rider in the race, number 64, Clayton Edmonds, the 12-year-old on the MJL racing machine. All identical Hondas, of course, completing the top 15. So what's this done for the championship? Crosby led Vaya by 2 coming into the weekend, and now it's Vaya ahead of Garness by 5, and poor Crosby falls right back to 5th and 31 points behind. But there's a long way still to go up to that finale at the beginning of October on the Grand Prix circuit at Donington Park. And don't forget the showpiece for the Talent Cup this year. They'll be racing on the Grand Prix weekend alongside MotoGP at Silverstone.
Harrison Desoy, congratulations there. You're lost for words. You keep shaking your head. You keep smiling. Just give me your thoughts after that one. Your first ever win and podium as well.
I mean, yeah, it was a great race. I enjoyed a lot of it. If I'm honest, I wasn't expecting to win. It was just such a crazy race, and I'm just so glad that I finished it on top.
You've made massive improvements. What would you say that's down to?
I think just all of pre-season work, working with Camino coaching Craig, as honestly, from having a not so good weekend at Silverstone, we've just sort of worked from the build up to this weekend, and it's just sort of sorted everything out. So a huge thank you to Craig and just all the pre-season work that we've been doing.
Well, congratulations, Harrison. Hopefully this is the start of many wins to come this season. Well done.
Thank you.
Many thanks, Rachel Stringer. Many thanks to Harrison as well. Brilliant first win then for Harrison, and what a season it has been so far. We saw Garness, who was very much the title favourite, I think it's fair to say, coming into the season, winning at Silverstone. Then we saw Keanu Vaya breaking his duck, the Dutch rider, the second race at Silverstone 2 weeks ago. Garness made it 2 out of 3 here on Sunday, and we have now, for half of the races so far, half of the 4 had new winners. Harrison Desoy, again there, thanking Craig, his coach. We were talking about it with Neil during the race. Mentors and coaches, so vital now. Otherwise, you will be left behind. And they work with Matt Belchin, who's the Dorna, the MSVR representative, and Alex Baldolini, the Dorna representative. They get them all up for big briefings. It's like a classroom. They all sit there with a whiteboard. They talk them through what they need to do. And we've seen consistently that the best listeners, those who want to learn, are consistently making progress. And Desoy certainly the best example so far this season. Well done, Reece Stevenson. That is absolutely brilliant there. The family-run team, I went and met them in the paddock earlier on today. He'll be made up with that. Second place, a massive confidence booster, so well done, everybody. Garness, of course, you can see the difference in height and weight. That's why he flies so much on the straights. And for Johnny to come out of here with 1 third place and 1 win, this is not his strongest track traditionally. That's perfect for Johnny Garness. There's Harrison Desoy, an unfamiliar place for him in this class. He's never been up there before. There's Alex Baldolini, former World Supersport rider himself, and really enjoying this role. He relates all of the information back to Alberto Puig, who of course is the head of the Road to MotoGP program. It all started with the Asia Talent Cup, which launched in 2014. Harrison Desoy then, a very, very well-deserved first victory here at Oulton Park in the Honda British Talent Cup. Brilliant racing then, brilliant talents of the future, and this one's going to run right up to Donington, I think, at the end of the year. It was the Bank Holiday Monday race here at Oulton Park, and as usual for the Honda British Talent Cup, it threw up all sorts of drama. Harley McCabe, for the first time ever, was on pole position, having set the fastest lap in race 1 on Sunday, but all sorts of fighting early doors, with Johnny Garness having won on Sunday, looking to fight his way back through and maintain the championship advantage. It was actually Keanu Vaya who'd fought through to the top of the standings after Harrison Crosby had been taken down in an incident involving Julian Correa at the end of Sunday's race. Crosby early doors there on the yellow Banks racing machine, fighting through to second place. But we had 11 riders, would you believe, at one point, fighting for the win. It became 5 in the closing stages, and this is where Crosby was caught out. It all got too tight round Lodge. He loses the rear over the top, and the erstwhile championship leader was out. But it was Harrison Desoy, number 55, the 16-year-old from Basildon, who wins for the first time in the Honda British Talent Cup.